Okay. What's up, Sneak Peekers? My name is Nolan Walley, and today I'm with the director of The Watchers, Ishana Shyamalan. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
The first question I have for you is, what was the motivation not only to make your first feature film, but to adapt this book specifically?
I think the feature world is always something I've wanted to move into. It's like an art form that just moves me as a viewer. I think it's one of the most kind of sacred spaces going into a theater and watching a feature. And so it was always aiming towards that and just kind of working myself up and trying to learn as many skill sets and techniques as I could before I embarked on that journey. And then kind of around that time where I was starting to shift my mindset into this art form, I read this book and it was brought to us by a producer, and I just kind of fell in love with the book and all the mythology behind it and the world that this author had created, and just felt like the perfect thing to kind of play with.
Absolutely. And this has one of the most interesting stories I've seen in a while, where you have these four characters stuck in this mystical forest being watched.
Yeah.
Did you try to characterize each of them differently so you could show how different people would react to that environment?
Definitely. I mean, I think for me it was very fun to just think conceptually about like how real human beings would react in these situations. I think for me, each of the characters is sort of a part of myself. They have different attributes that I was kind of putting into them to sort of play with the difference between them, and they have this kind of odd family dynamic. I think that was what was important to me, to have this weird family drama happening at the center of this more surrealist universe.
There are so many elements that I can't imagine go into directing. Is there any that you put a lot of effort into that you think an audience might not pick up at first, that you think they should look out for?
I mean, I think the hope is it's one of those art forms where you're so meticulous about things and you're so looking at things in such a myopic way, but when it's all said and done, you want it to be a kind of seamless experience and feel effortless and like everything ties together. So there's so many, I think all of the choices in the movie, from the performances to the visuals, took so much time and consideration, but the hope is that you just feel it as one piece and kind of one flow through it a bit.
Speaking of the visuals, this has one of the most interesting visuals I've seen in such a long time. What went into planning this unique feeling?
I think it was just something that excited me. When I read the book for the first time, I had these very distinctive images come to mind, and those really never changed from the beginning of reading the book to the end of the process. But I had a wonderful production designer who kind of came on at the very beginning. He was the first person on the movie, and we started talking like months in advance about how we were going to make these builds and what kind of patterns and colors we wanted to play with, and that was just such a blissful part of the prep process, and we knew it was going to kind of be the forefront of the movie.
And then my last question, it was a couple of years ago that you graduated from NYU.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for UT students of what they should be perfecting while they're in college when they enter into the industry?
I mean, I don't know. I think for me, it's very much still a process, and I'm learning and still figuring it out. But I think just making something, like that was really what helped me understand what I wanted to do, listening to sort of my own creative instincts and trying to be sort of as truthful as you can to what your tastes are.
Okay, that's all the questions I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Such a pleasure. Thanks.